Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another video, and I have started this so many times. So there are so many reasons why I restarted this. I was originally going to put it in my July TBR, then I thought, you know what, that's too much going on. I was going to put it in like one of my very last videos, which was when I went over like a Harry Potter special edition set, but again, I felt like it was too much. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to make my own video. I recorded the whole thing again. I was like, I don't like where this is going. I don't like what I'm talking about. So pretty much, like, my channel is not that big. If you guys are here, you probably already know what the Magical Readathon is. If not, I'm going to post the video in the description so you can check it out for yourself. But basically, it's a Harry Potter themed readathon. And if you have any questions about it, well, first off, if you don't like Harry Potter, you're probably not going to care about this. And if you have any questions about the readathon, you can go check it out down below. But I'm going to go over the assumption that you probably already know what the readathon is and that you like Harry Potter and this is why you're here. So if you are interested in how I'm really handling the Harry Potter transition, you know, what my goal, like how I feel about J.K. Rowling and what she's doing, I'm going to go ahead and link my Harry Potter video where I talk about this really awesome Harry Potter collection set that I just bought. At the beginning of that video, I do talk about how I feel about J.K. Rowling and how I'm handling Harry Potter stuff going forward. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the actual Magical Readathon. First off, I do want to just say that I am going with something that BookRoast says in her video, where there really is no time period. Obviously, if you're following strictly by the rules, you're probably wondering why am I releasing this so late, because it's going to come out at the end of August. But honestly, what I'm going to do is just fit these books in to my like monthly TBR for like the rest of the year, because some of them are pretty well suited for like an October or December release, and BookRoast pretty much says, you know what, just go at your own pace and finish whenever you want. Personally, I feel like as a community this is a really good way to kind of end the Harry Potter discussion or whatever, you know, because as you know, because NEWTs are the very last test that you take before you kind of like go on to your actual job in Harry Potter world or whatever. So I feel like collectively as a community, this is like our last test before we move on to like whatever's next, our future and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty fitting that she finished the Magical Readathon with this N.E.W.T.s, and then she's going to go do something else, like a new readathon that isn't Harry Potter related. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the books. If you did not watch my Owls Magical Readathon, I did decide to become a magical healer. So I passed all my owls just fine. My N.E.W.T.s don't actually look too bad either. I'm sure you guys probably know, but if you don't, the grading system pretty much just works where there are 3 grades you can get: A for acceptable, E for exceeding expectations, and O for outstanding. You do have to get the easier one before you move on to the next one. So first you have to read and complete the book that's an E, to be able to read and complete the book that's an A, to then read and complete the book that's an O, so on and so forth. So as a magical healer, I actually don't need any O's, so all of these are going to go in order from the E, then the A that I need, and then to the next class. So without further ado, let's jump into my list. The first class that I need to pass is Herbology, the first prompt being Puffapods, which means I need to read a book with a flower on the cover. I've chosen to read Sorcery of Thorns. There is a little bitty flower in the bottom corner there. This has been on my TBR for a while. I think I got it in a book box a while back. It's gotten some pretty good reviews. Real quick synopsis is it's about a girl who works as a librarian and books are like really magical or something like that in this world. And she ends up getting into like some shenanigans. I think she accidentally releases a book she's not supposed to, or releases some power or something like that, and then has to, you know, something happens after that. I'm not 100% sure, but that's like the briefest part that I know about it. The second prompt for Herbology is Nettle Plant. This is to read a book that might be impactful. I chose to read From Rufio to Zuko. This is an autobiography by Dante Bosco. The reason why I feel like this might be impactful for me is because without realizing it, I feel like Dante Bosco was probably one of the first people of color that I saw in a show. Like when I was really little, one of the first movies I remember is Hook, where he indeed does play Rufio. And I think seeing him probably didn't do anything impactful to me. I'm sure for a person of color, it definitely seemed like, wow, that's someone like me on the big screen. But for me, what it did is it normalized seeing people of color. And I feel like that's definitely what his autobiography is going to talk about, is him growing up in Hollywood and being in movies as a person of color. And I think it would be really interesting to see like how he felt about something that seems so simple to me that actually made a really big impact to him and other people of color. So the class after that is charms. The first prompt is a cheering charm, which is to read a humorous novel. I chose to read The Extraordinaries. This is a book by T.J. Klune. It follows a boy who writes fan fiction about superheroes in his world and that are in his city. Superheroes are real in this version of basically New York, and he writes gay fan fiction about one of the heroes, and then at one point he kind of develops a plot to become a hero himself and to get with the hero. Honestly, I already finished this book. It's gonna be in my August monthly wrap up. I did not like it. Lots of problems with it. Wasn't a good time. So it was still supposed to be funny, so it counts, but I did not have fun reading it. So the second prompt is the Glacius Freezing Charm. This is to read a book set in the winter time. This is probably the main prompt that I read where I knew I wanted to just take the rest of the year to complete this list, because I chose Bear and the Nightingale. I've heard some really good things about this. I hear it's very atmospheric, and if I'm reading a book set in the winter time where everyone basically says to read it in the winter time because it's atmospheric, I'm going to go ahead and do that because I wanted to read this book for a while. I don't know too much about it. I know it's based on, or I think it's based on Russian folklore, and that's all I really know. So atmospheric winter story based on Russian folklore. I'm probably going to get to it in November or December. The next class is Defense Against the Dark Arts. The first prompt is based off the Boggart, which is to read a horror or thriller novel. Again, perfect for October. I actually don't read horror or thriller novels, so this is taking me outside of my comfort zone. But there is a book that has popped up a lot on my radar that's a really creepy, atmospheric book that I thought would fit perfectly for this prompt and perfect to read in October, and that book is The Diviners. I'm not 100% sure on the plot of this from what I know, and I have read the first chapter, but from what I'm aware of, I believe there is a demon or a ghost or a demon spirit, whatever, that's loose in 1920s New York, and it's murdering people. And I believe the main character has some sort of clairvoyance. I believe that's the right term, but essentially she has the power to, I think, see ghosts or talk to ghosts or something like that. And so she's basically gonna Nancy Drew the hell out of this thing and see what's going on. So it's supposed to be really creepy, atmospheric, and I'm actually kind of interested now that I'm being forced to read a thriller. So the second Defense Against the Dark Arts prompt is based off Kappas, which is water demons. This is to read a book with demons or water. The first book that kind of came to mind was the Red Scrolls of Magic. This is a spin-off of the Shadowhunters series. This is following Magnus Bane and Alec Lightwood, which is a gay couple from the original series. I didn't really read the original series. I saw the show and I really liked that couple. And I didn't look it up, but I'm 99% sure that warlocks are half demons, so I should have the prompt right there. But then also reading the synopsis, it says that while they're vacationing, they get interrupted by a cult of demon worshippers. And I'm well, there we go. I guess that's my perfect prompt right there. So the class after that I need to finish is potions. The first prompt is an ingredient, which is a flying seahorse. This is to read a book or a cover with sky in it or on it, and this is perfect because I've been wanting to read the sequel to Black Wings Beating, and this is called Red Skies Falling. There is skies in the title, there is skies on the cover. It fits perfectly. I've actually already started this one. I'm about halfway through it, and it's been so good so far. I can't talk about too much about it, but essentially it's set in a fictional world. It's honestly pretty small. It's just this one small area describes, but essentially it's very bird related. There's falconers, and there are people who worship birds but not falconers. They think people who touch birds or work with birds are sinful and stuff like that. So it's got its theme down. There's a lot of puns and really good language that's all wrapped around it. It follows a pair of siblings. One is gay, one is actually asexual, and essentially there's a war coming to them and they have to do a bunch of stuff. The first book was pretty good. I really liked it. The second book's even better. Obviously, I can't get into the second book too much until you've read the first one, but I recommend it. It's really good. And it's a good LGBT book too. The prompt after that is Doxycide. This is to read an author that starts with a D. I decided to double up and again choose From Rufio to Zuko. This is written by Dante Bosco, as I said. So the last class is Transfiguration, the first animal cover or title. I finally decided to get around to Six of Crows, and there's literally a big crow right there in the front of the cover, so got it down, nailed it. I'm sure more people probably know what this book is than me. I'm probably one of the last ones to read it, but from what I know, it's like a group of like angsty teens who I believe are going to like rob something. So it's like a heist story about angsty teens. That's as much as I know. And the last prompt is the Dragon Force spell, which is to read a book with dragon or fire on the title or cover. And again, luckily there is the third book in the Shadow of the Fox series that I've been wanting to wrap up, called Night of the Dragon. Obviously, I can't go too much into this, but if you're interested in this series, it's essentially about a fox girl who has to like get this secret magical device from one place to another, and she's sort of like lying to people along the way so that they'll help her like get her scroll to this thing. Obviously, this is the third book in the series, so I can't get too much more into it. But that is it for my list. Those are all my classes, those are all my prompts, and those are all my books. So what I really like about these like readathons and these prompts and stuff like this, it will get you to read things you probably never planned on reading but might be okay with, such as the Diviners. But in my case, it's actually picking a lot of books that I know I want to get to, such as Night of the Dragon, Six of Crows, Red Skies Falling, The Red Scrolls of Magic, and Bear and the Nightingale. It's all these books that I know I want to read, but like I need that extra push. Like I need something that really forces them onto my TBR, because I wouldn't have done it like by myself. And so like I think it's really perfect. I love that some of these were ones I've really wanted to get to, especially Night of the Dragon. The fact that I want to finish a trilogy, because I'm really bad at finishing series that I've started. Like stuff like that is, it's perfect. I love when I get prompts like these that fit my books. So that is going to be it for me, guys. If you have your own Magical Readathon video, definitely link that down below. Let me know what you think about the books that I'm reading. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye now.